All right.
All right.
Buddy, welcome back to the BGA live stream. It's been a while since we did one, I think since the annual enrollment period, maybe around Halloween. As you can see, my beard has grown proportional to probably the amount of time.
Yeah, if I look a little disheveled, it's because I've been shoveling all day, and then kids forced me to play in the snow and build snowmen. So,
it sounds horrible.
Disheveled, you know what's going on.
Sounds terrible. Building snowmen, playing in the snow. Sounds terrible.
We're the kids,
All right. So what we're going to do here tonight is Greg's got an update for everybody. We're actually now in a new enrollment period that Greg can discuss. I just want to remind everybody, if you do have a question, there is a question box on either YouTube or Facebook, depending on where you're watching it. All you have to do is type your question in the box, send it over. We'll see it, and we'll answer your questions. Can be about anything. We're going to talk about one specific topic tonight, which is Medicare Advantage. But if you have a question about anything, go ahead and feel free to drop it in there. And without further ado, I'll kick it over to Greg, and he can start things off.
All right. So welcome back, everyone. Sorry it's been so long since we've been on, but during the holiday time, the last thing you probably want to talk about is Medicare. So I'm glad we're back, and we are in an enrollment period. And I know most of you, if you're on here or if you're checking this out later, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, there's an annual enrollment period. What are you talking about? Well, a little known fact is there is a huge enrollment period that goes on right now. And it's called it's actually been renamed on a few occasions. This year, they call it the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period. So it was the same last year. The year before it was different. A couple of years before that it was different. But officially now it's the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period. And most people say, well, we just got done annual enrollment. What's different? What can we do now? It runs from January 1st to March 31st. And it is basically giving you an opportunity, if you feel like you made a mistake, to make one more change. Or if you didn't make a change at all, maybe you ran out of time, maybe you didn't think of it, you can make another change. But it's very specific to what you can do. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, HMO or PPO, you can switch to another Medicare Advantage plan. So, you had Aetna, you changed it to Clover. You're not so sure about Clover right now. Maybe you want to go back to Aetna, or maybe you want to try Cigna. You can make that change. If it has to be like to like, though. So if you have Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage, it's got to be Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage. You can't drop the drug coverage or add the drug coverage. It's got to be equal to equal. One other choice you can make is to go back to original Medicare. So if you have the Medicare Advantage plan, maybe you have had it, maybe you switched to it during the last annual enrollment, but you're getting a chance to now make that change back to original Medicare again. So you say, hey, I've got a PPO, I switched to it, I'm not so sure, maybe I don't like it, maybe I've had it for a few years, but everyone keeps telling me go to original Medicare with a supplement. You can do that. This is one more chance to do it. So if you didn't do it on annual enrollment, you can now go, all right, I'm getting out of this PPO plan or this HMO plan. I'm going to go back to original Medicare, and I'm going to pick up a prescription drug plan and supplement. You are allowed to do that. Things you cannot do during this period. If you have a prescription drug plan and you didn't want it or don't like it or want to change to something else, you can't make that change. If you have original Medicare and you want to go from your supplement to an Advantage plan, you can't make that change. But again, the most important one is knowing, hey, I got on Humana, my doctor doesn't take it, my prescription is not covered, something like that comes up, you can make that change to another Advantage plan. Or, you know what, I got on Cigna, but I found out Clover's got these other benefits I like. My friend got this one and I want to try that one. You can do that. So if you are concerned about your plan, if you're questioning the change you made, if you didn't get to make a change and you go, maybe I do want to make one now, now's the time to do it. And we have a while to do it. We got through January. You can see the dogs are joining us in the background, walking around. We got through January. If you make a change in February, it'll take effect March 1st. If you make a change in March, it'll take effect April 1st. After March 31st, we're in officially what's called lock-in period. Lock-in period means you're locked in. You've got your plan, and there would have to be some significant circumstance for you to make a change, or you would have to get what's called a special enrollment period. And that usually only happens if you move out of your planned service area, if there's a national or federal declared disaster that you weren't able to make a change when you should have been able to make one. Really, really limiting circumstances that allow it to happen. So once March 31st hits, you're stuck with what you got, which hopefully you're happy and you didn't want to make any further changes, but then you have until October till you can start looking around again at what's available. So that's the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. So you can go Advantage plan to Advantage plan. You can go Advantage plan back to original Medicare with a supplement. And that's pretty much it. You cannot go from original Medicare to Advantage, and you can't switch Part D plans.
And you said you can't go from a supplement if you have one now. If it was the Medicare we just went through the enrollment period, you picked up a supplement, and you wanted to go to Advantage, you can't do that. Is that correct?
Or can't do that right now.
Okay, so it's only like to like.
Like to like, or back to original Medicare, but not from original Medicare to Advantage plan. So who came up with this? Why did they make the rules this way? Why do you have 3 more months to make one more change? I don't know why the government does it. And this enrollment period has changed over the years. At one time, you could go from anything to anything. And then there was another time where it was called the Medicare Advantage disenrollment period, where you could just go from Advantage plan back to original Medicare. Now it's this specific set of circumstances. Maybe it'll last a couple of years, maybe it won't, but they've changed those timelines. But, that's why we're here. We're here to keep you informed. And again, like I said, for any of you who didn't get to make a change, you're stuck with what you had, but you're like, wow, there are some really nice plans out there, contact me, contact us. For those of you who think, maybe I made a mistake, I'm not real happy with what I went to, give us a call, let us know. We still have a chance, okay? We can still make these changes.
So, as far as supplement plans go, the rules are somewhat different, though, right? You can make changes with your supplement plan at any time during the year. You don't have to have a special enrollment like this, which is just for Medicare Advantage.
Correct. Any time of year, you can go from supplement to a supplement. So you can't do that with other plans, but supplement to supplement you can. And realistically, the reason why is when you change Advantage plans, you're telling Medicare, I'm going from one to another, and that's who my primary insurance is going to be. And there's Medicare makes payments in there, and that's why it's a problem for them. You can't change drug coverage for the same reason. Medicare goes, wait a minute, you told us you're going with these guys. We got to send a payment to these guys. We don't want to be switching all over the place.
Right.
But with the supplement, you're not impacting Medicare. Medicare remains your primary. They don't care who the second bill payer is. They just care that they're the primary, and you're not altering that. So any time of year you want, you can switch a supplement. And I'm not telling you should bounce every month to a new supplement, but sometimes folks get emails from me. Sometimes you see it advertised. We can look at your price, especially since for a lot of you, your supplement anniversary date is not the first of the year. For a lot of you, your supplement anniversary date might be January, February, March, April, May. I mean, it can be any month of the year depending on when you started. So you'll get an increase based on your anniversary date, not on the first of the year, which is very different from drug plans and Advantage plans. So if you said, Greg, I got on my Medicare supplement on June 1st of whatever year it was, well, somewhere around May 1st, you're going to get informed what your new premium is going to be. And if you don't like it, or you feel we should be looking for something else, well, then certainly give me a call or give us a call if I'm not your agent, or if you're new here and you're not already a BGA customer, give us a call. Let us, we're going to look at, hey, maybe you have an AARP Medicare supplement and maybe you want to look at some other Medicare supplements. And the nice thing is they're all the same. So if you have an Aetna Medicare Plan G, well, guess what? A Cigna Plan G and an AARP Plan G and a Blue Cross Plan G, they're all the same. So we can kind of shop around and see. Now, a little caveat to that is majority, if not all the available supplements now are going to ask you health questions. So if you say, okay, I have a supplement, it went up in price, I'd like to make a change, I'm going to say, great, we're going to shop around. We may find one that saves you money. But I'm going to ask you a laundry list of health questions. Now, we do change people every day of the week. So it's not like it's exhaustive, like, oh my God, they're going to just find something wrong with me. It doesn't work that way. It's really major conditions. So, if you had a heart attack in the last 2 years, they're going to say, no, we won't take you. But if it was more than 2 years ago and you haven't had another event, then they'll take you. And the same goes for usually strokes and cancer and things like that. So it's not that you can, if you had a health episode in the past, it doesn't mean you can never get a change of insurance. So it's nice to know that that's available to you.
So if someone's looking at their plan and they say, you know what, I feel like I'm paying too much, how can they tell, maybe they haven't looked at their plan in 3-4 years, right? They just always enroll in the same thing. How do they know if it's a supplement plan or an Advantage plan? Does it say right there on the name of the plan, or is there a way that they can say, you know what, I'm going to look at this and find out if I do have an Advantage plan and if I can change? Is there an easy way to do that?
So there's a couple ways. One, if you have a supplement, it should say on your card, Medicare supplement plan, and then the letter. If you have an Advantage plan, it should say Medicare Advantage on there somewhere. But here's the easiest way. What card do you show the doctor? If you show the doctor your Medicare card when you go there, that means your other coverage, your Aetna or your Cigna, that's a supplement. If you show the card the company, like if you show them your Aetna card or you show them your Clover card and you don't ever use your Medicare card, you definitely have an Advantage plan.
Okay.
Because your doctor needs to bill your primary insurer first. So if you're going to a doctor's and hospitals and specialists and you're showing your Medicare card first, you have a Medicare supplement. If you're showing the company card like Aetna or Cigna or an AARP, if you're showing that first and that's the only one you're showing, you definitely have an Advantage plan. I mean, I won't say definitely because there's always weird circumstances, but if you're showing them and a lot of these companies sell both. So you could have an Aetna supplement, but you can also have an Aetna Advantage plan. It really depends on what you're showing to the doctor first, who they're billing, and that gives you an idea. So we're in the Medicare Advantage enrollment period, open enrollment period. If you say, hey, I don't know if I have an Advantage. Well, for most people who have Advantage plans, they've probably taken their Medicare card, put it in a drawer and tucked it away for future use because you don't need to carry it if you have an Advantage plan. You're not using it anywhere. But if you have a supplement, that's the card you got to show everywhere you go. So you know
Right.
you can carry it with you. So that usually makes it easiest to figure out what you got.
Okay. Just a reminder, if anybody has a question, Greg will answer it right now live on the call. You can, on Facebook or YouTube, just go over to the comment box and you can just add your question. I think we just lost Greg. He might have accidentally kicked himself out of the stream. So I'll do a little comic relief for 3 seconds. Oh, there he is.
I don't know. I was actually clicking to look at the comments to see if any were on there, and I don't know what I just clicked out of. But
That's all right.
Sorry, no. Would have had that Ryan handle the whole show by himself.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done to fill, another couple minutes.
Yeah.
All right, so we have no questions from the audience. I do want to, by the way, if you're confused by any of this, or like I said, if you look at your card and you have no idea what you have, the easiest thing to do is just call Greg and he can tell you and help you out. And there's no fee for it. He can just say, this is what you have.
Yeah.
Here's what the price is. Here's some other options. You can say, well, I'm paying way too much. And he can tell you, well, maybe you're not based on the plan comparisons. Some people think maybe that they have the wrong plan, but in fact, they don't. So, if you just want peace of mind, it's just something you should do maybe once a year. But like Greg said, March 31st is the deadline for this specific enrollment period. So this is Medicare Advantage and March 31st. We have some time. But a lot of people, you just forget about it. You don't think about it, and all of a sudden the 31st comes upon you. So, is there anything to do with COVID that factors into this at all, Greg? Are there any COVID changes or implications?
So the interesting thing about COVID is it did cause some enrollment periods, meaning, obviously COVID's been a big factor for all of 2020. It's still a factor here in 2021. And obviously, a lot of your plans cover any of your COVID treatments like testing and things like that at a $0 copay. Even my plan at under 65, testing and everything was $0. That's continuing. Again, like I said, when I said there sometimes is a special election period, it usually takes some seriously unforeseen circumstances. So COVID was considered a reason for that in 2020. Now, a lot of these major companies are trying to figure out if it can still be used. So you missed your window to make an enrollment. Did you miss your window to make an enrollment because something COVID related? And that's one of the things a lot of the major companies are trying to figure out the verbiage to see if they can use that. None of them have come to me yet and said, hey, if somebody wants to make a change and they say, well, I couldn't because maybe I was sick with COVID, something like that. It right now is not something you can list on an application, or at least not that we're aware of.
Okay.
But speaking to, since you hit the COVID topic, I know a lot of my own customers. I think I sent emails out when New Jersey started opening up who could go and get the vaccine. I encourage everybody, check with your state or county health departments, see the easiest way. I know in New Jersey, there was a lot of emails that went out. I know a lot of my customers tried to sign up. Some did, some were not able to. I do know the easiest way to sign up, I think right now, if you're in New Jersey, is via through virtual. It has the mega site they opened up in Morristown Mall, where a lot of folks are getting their vaccinations done. I encourage it. I think it's going to get us back to normal quickly. I think it's the safest thing for everybody thus far. I'm no doctor, so don't quote me on what's safe or it's not safe, but I think this vaccine's obviously been found to work well. So I encourage everybody to look at it. It's going to get you back to some sort of normalcy a lot faster than expected. So everybody stay safe. And when your turn comes up, make sure you're signed up for it. Make sure you get it. Again, contact your local county or state health department. And they'll definitely point you in the right direction. If you don't know the number or how to get to it, go right onto your search bar, whether you're using Google Chrome or Firefox or some of you have Apple, so use Safari. Just type it in. If you're in Pennsylvania Department of Health, they'll get you there. And I bet you the first thing they show you is COVID vaccine information. Here, click here. So I definitely encourage you, get on with that as fast as you can. I know a lot of people are scheduled. Some have already gotten their first shots, especially those with what they call comorbidities. It's not going to cost you anything. Just get it done. And like I said, you can maybe go back to some normalcy. One more thing I wanted to touch on this time of year, especially, is for a lot of you, some of the folks on here may say, well, Greg, you switched me from this to this. I'm happy. Like, this doesn't really apply to me. Well, that brings a really good point. If you're happy with what you switched to, believe it or not, there's a lot of people who didn't make any changes during the enrollment period who are still sitting with that plan that might be friends of yours, could be family members. Now's the time to say, hey, you know what? I just watched my agent's live stream and he said you can still make a change. So remember how you thought you were stuck with your plan? Let them know. Maybe they're not my customer yet, but maybe they need to talk to me, and maybe they need to talk to an agent at BGA if you're just a BGA customer and say, hey, they just told us you can make a switch. Remember how you said you liked everything about my plan, but you didn't do it? Well, now's your chance to do it again. So I say reach out. And again, like Ryan said, we have until March 31st to do that. And then one other thing I really, really want to touch on is for a lot of you that might have made changes, maybe even if you stay with your existing Advantage plan especially. Let's touch on Advantage plans while we say this. A lot of the Advantage plans got better this year, meaning the price might have went down, your copays could have gone down, they might have added some additional benefits. Something really, really important to look at with Advantage plans is there are two major shortcomings to those plans. The first shortcoming is the coverage for the hospital. Your biggest copay on that plan is daily hospital copays that can range anywhere from $200 a day all the way up to $400 a day. There are insurances that work directly with that, meaning you can purchase separate policies called hospital indemnity policies that actually will pay out if you go in the hospital. So let's just say you have Aetna, and Aetna says, well, if you go in the hospital, you have a copay for $300 a day. So if you're there for 5 days, you're going to come home, you're going to have a $1,500 bill. There's hospital indemnity policies that say, okay, well, we can set you up with a policy that you pay a monthly fee for, and if you go in the hospital, we'll give you $300 a day for 5 days to make sure it's covered. So when you come out of the hospital, you get a bill from your copay for the hospital, and then you submit it and you get a check to pay the balance. So these policies really line up nicely. And if you save money this year, it's really something to look at. So if your policy went from $30 a month down to zero, for less than $30 a month, you may be able to pick up one of those indemnity policies. The second biggest shortcoming on Advantage plans, and this has always been the biggest issue with Advantage plans, is the coverage for cancer treatments. Cancer treatments on Advantage plans are covered at 80%, leaving you with the rest of the bill, 20% of it. And it's contained. I mean, it depends on what the insurance company, whatever they agree to, is the 20% you'll owe, but it still could be a lot. Some of those indemnity policies also include cancer coverage to say, okay, if you can pass a couple of quick health questions, you can get this policy. And the policy is really simple. If you get cancer, if you're diagnosed with it, where you're going to pay 20% of all your costs with your Advantage plan, well, we're just going to cut you a check for whatever you decided for. So just like life insurance, you purchase a $10,000 life insurance policy. If you pass, your beneficiary gets $10,000. Cancer policies work the same. Say you buy a $10,000 cancer policy. If you get cancer, unlike life insurance, they're going to cut the check directly to you because now you're going to use that money and pay those copays. And maybe you need to pay for other things because maybe now you're getting cancer treatment. You're a little under the weather. You need some transportation. You need somebody to help you out with some things. You can use that money to pay for that. So there are two really important factors I always like to bring up. We love getting a better deal on our plans. We love lowering our premium. We love lowering our copays. But sometimes you might want to look and turn around and say, let's just look at these other policies. Let's see what's available because honestly, if I end up in the hospital, that's the big bill. All right, maybe I have a $0 premium, but I go in the hospital, I don't know that I can handle $1,800 in one day. So that's where we should look at these things. And again, doesn't cost anything to get quoted, doesn't cost anything to apply. It's just if you get the plan and you decide you want to keep it, then you pay your monthly premium, and it's really not as much as some people would think it would be.
All right. So I think the message of today is, if you keep making the same mistakes over and over and you don't like your plan, today is Groundhog Day, which is a celebration of trying to fix that, right? So here we have Greg at the wheel with the groundhog, and he's making the same mistakes every year. So if you feel like you need a better Medicare Advantage plan, now's the time. And, year after year, if you felt like, well, why do I keep paying this? Well, now's the time to ask Greg and see if he can help you figure it out. So I don't see any questions from the audience today. Must have been because the information was just so good and accurate. That's what I'm going to chalk up to.
I gave them everything they need to know. That's it.
So if anybody needs help with this kind of thing, you can go to bgainsurance.net. I'll just put that up here real quick. bgainsurance.net. You can give the guys a call or just use the contact form on the button that you see right away. and just shoot over a question and ask them, hey, you know, I have a plan I want you to take a look at and see if you can save me some money. I just did this and I literally just sent it to the guy and said, find me something better because I don't know what I have. And the guy saved me $300 a year. So same thing. Like I didn't even have to do anything. He did it all. So the situation is similar with Greg, you know, when it comes to Med Advantage or supplements. Just let him do it. Let him take care of it for you. That's what he's here for. So,
and I always tell folks, look, we don't work for the insurance company. We work for you. I don't want you to overpay and give some insurance company. They got plenty of money. They don't need extra from you. Let you keep your money in your pocket. Let's lower your premium if we can.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants more money, right?
Yeah. And by the way, that's a nice picture. You could tell that's a pre-COVID picture of me because look, I'm shaved. I got my hair combed right. Right now, I'm wearing a hooded sweatshirt with like my Under Armour heat gear to try to keep me warm from outside. And there, I got a suit on underneath that. You can tell it's a pre-COVID picture.
Yeah, I mean, you're outside, so there you go. That's number one. I actually don't know what happened with the groundhog today.
He saw a shadow. We got 6
he did? Doesn't he always see a shadow?
I don't know, but somebody just brought it up to me. I was just on the phone. And I said, yeah, he saw a shadow today. And she made a good point. She goes, you know, the sun hasn't been out for like 2 days. How did you see a shadow? Like, actually pretty valid. The sun is not. It certainly wasn't out in Punxsutawney today.
That is a solid point. I never even thought, like, what if it rains on Groundhog Day?
Yeah, exactly.
Then what?
But he saw a shadow, so 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's feels like winter anyway because we've all been locked up forever. So it's like it's almost like an endless winter.
Well, and that's why I say get the vaccine so we can get back out in the world.
That's right. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and post on the Facebook. If you're on YouTube, please click the like button. There's a little thumbs up. Just give us a quick like. And then there's also a subscribe button. If you subscribe to the show, then basically you'll be notified automatically anytime we go live. And we just keep these short. You know, we don't make them an hour more, so that you can catch up later if you want to listen to it while you're making dinner. That's what I do all the time. Just hear some background info. So push that subscribe button, and you'll be notified. But that's about it. Any final words, Greg?
No, just everybody be safe. Keep your mask on or whatever you do to stay safe, and get the vaccine when you can. So, like I said, we can get back to living.
All right, guys. We'll see everybody later.
Take it easy. Have a good one.